So I've been thinking. So what I've done is I took the 1541 out of the picture that I knew would just spin, and I've got all of its chips into this one. And when I turn it on, it does not spin. So I'm thinking they're all good. But does that mean that this drive works? Well, no, it doesn't. So I've connected a Commodore 64, and I moved all the chips that I took out of this drive away. So here I have a test demo disk. I will put it in, and I will attempt to load the directory. And it is loading. Not surprising. Because this is the drive. That worked. So I've loaded the performance test. Whee! I will now attain a very blank disk. At least I think I will. Blank disk. Alright. And I will run. So all this is really going to tell me is, this drive worked, the other drive just spun. I've changed all the chips. It's still, nothing appeared to make anything fail. So I'm just verifying that these chips indeed seem to be okay, and that this drive that was working continues to work. That is the plan. Now after that, well, I'll have to think about that. What that probably means is that the circuit board on the other 1541 has some other failure. It does. There are many other things that it could be. Really, almost anything. But does that mean that the whole drive is ruined? Well, no. It means the circuit board is strange. Which is a shame. Okay, so things are happening. And things seem to be working. So the basics of a 1541 are quite simple. You have a case, you have a circuit board, a disk drive mechanism, and a power supply. That's pretty much it. So if the board has some discrete failure, and the chips are all good, well, then the chips can be donors for other things. If the drive itself has gone wonky, and that's always possible, I mean, especially the heads. I don't remember seeing that a drive would just spin without the board telling it, you know, there's weird things going on here. But you never know, you know. So just got to figure out now, what is the next step? I could put all the chips into the other drive, all these ones here, that work just fine, and see if it makes any difference, which it should not. But stranger things have happened. Okay, so that is working with all the swapped chips. I'm going to turn that off. I'll turn that off. I'm going to not want to hurt any of these, but I also want to have them in the same order at which they came out. Oh, it's in the keys, it's stuck. Anyway, because I think, just as a matter of, not that I really enjoy pulling chips out and putting chips in and, you know, doing all that endlessly. I'm going to take this Commodore 64, put it over there. And this cable, I'll just get out of the way, put it down. And if I turn around, I'll realize that the other 1541 is a little bit out of reach. Oh. Now, it is always possible that some chip just needed to be reset. You know what I'm going to do at this moment? I'm going to take this light, I'm going to turn it over so that I can get a really good look into all the sockets and see if I see anything. And they all look fine. Alright, so I did not think that I was going to get this much into this. So, one rip from in. Check the pins, always check the pins. Check the witness mark. And I keep on mentioning the witness mark, but you know what, if you're the first time watching this, and you don't know what that is, every chip has a little thing at the end. Like a little notch, kind of. And on the circuit board, or at least on these, there is a corresponding notch. And even on the socket, there's a corresponding notch to tell you this is the way. Oh yeah, little bent. When things go in and out, they can get a little bent. Especially the very end pins. So you've really got to be gentle. So, line them up. Pop them in. That was the 325-572-01. Here we have, oh, a 6522 with a very bent pin. Like very. That's very strange because that was the one I took out. But you know, maybe not all the pins are needed. Ooh. Maybe. Alright, I gotta be very careful of the pin on the far side. Alright, everything is lined up. Remove. These two are a little bent. Just a little. Usually it's just a little angled from when they go in and out. And once again, yes, I know chip pullers, chip pullers, chip pullers. I don't like them. Alright. in. $65.02. Going in. Alright. It's in. Everything is in. And if there was just an issue of reseating certainly everything has been reseated. But I don't believe that this is going to change anything. And when I take the power and I put it in, that the drive is going to spin. I will be shocked if it's anything but that. Let's just see what happens. It still spins. Alrighty. Not surprising. So let me just glance. I don't know that I've ever taken these foolish things off. Oh. Ow. Okay, nothing to turn. Oh, I don't think I can get that off. Maybe if I jam this in here. No little potentiometers to change around. Okay, so spins endlessly, and it does. So we have changed the chips. I think the thing, that screwdriver does not fit so good in there either. Does that fit better? Whoa. Yeah, it does. So I think the thing to do, as I say, there are basically 3 parts that make a difference besides the case. Is we take the board off. Which takes some screws and some connectors. So 4 screws, 5 screws, and then there's more. There's 2 along the side. The board will be loose. I'm just keeping a thumb on it so I do not let it fall. Alright. So now there's the power, and then all of these connectors, which only, thankfully, they only go on one way. They only fit one way. They do. So this board is suspected of having some discrete failure. So we'll set that there. And this drive and power supply, who knows? I wish there was a way that I did not have to take this board off of here. I wish there was. But at this moment, I can't think of it. I have in the past managed to set drives next to each other, but I think that is not going to happen. So, in the end, I think what I'm going to end up with is a circuit board that is deemed well, basically destined for the intensive care unit. More screws. I think I have the screws undone. All right. Now, of course, because this board, I know, is working, I certainly do not want to drop it. Alright, are we done? Alright, lots of screws. So, now, excuse me, undo all the little connectors with great care and reverence. Remember, they only go on one way. So we look inside. 15, yeah, everything looks the same. It does. Now, all the connectors tend to sort of just stay in the right place. They do. Right. There we go. And they go on. Tickety-boo. Ha! And now, power connector. Now, because, of course, none of this is secured, I am going to partially secure the board because I don't want anything to slip and slide and cause some catastrophic failure. So I'm going to put this, screw in the front. Always remember, just snug. You don't have to reef on it. And the same in this corner. So now, assuming all goes well, when I turn this on, this drive will start and stop, just like the other one did. Because it has a circuit board that we know is good. So we're going to turn it on. And it does. Excellent. So here we have a 1541, good drive mechanism, good power supply. So I guess the next thing I really have to do is run this through the performance test to see if this drive mechanism and this power supply are indeed good. At least I think that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, it may be time to think. It might be. So, I will think. Thank you very much for coming. Stay tuned. We may not get to the bottom of what's what here, but at least I'll know what's what, somewhat. You know. Ugh. Anyway, for the moment,